Hi, I'm Sophie.
Hi, I'm Paul, and we are
SP Film Viewers.
Well, this is somewhat embarrassing for me. This is one of those films that I feel like I really should have seen by now.
Why haven't you seen it, Paul?
A bit ashamed to not have seen. I don't know. I think it's just one of those films, very much like you, where you might sort of know what the film's about without seeing it, and you kind of it's just in like pop culture, and it's.
I thought you were the film buff. I feel like you're just making up excuses here. I'm allowed to not see films.
I know.
This is the whole reason about a podcast.
I know, it's quite shocking, really.
Yeah. We're gonna need a new main lead now, I think. Everyone's gonna vote you off.
But it was always... I remember like seeing the cover on VHS, this is obviously way back when. But Mum and Dad's, obviously when I was a lot younger, I was like, what's this? Like, there's this white face and this moth on the front with like what looked like a skull pattern on it. I'm thinking, what's that about? Why is it called Silence of the Lambs? There's no lambs on the cover.
Bless you. Well, that is valid. Like, it is. It's a good question.
I'm hoping the film kind of answers that for me, because I've done no real background research on it as such. I know there's a lotion on the skin or something like that, but Hannibal Lecter, but because obviously
you're confusing me with lotion on.
Yeah.
You mean like ketchup to make them tastier, like because he eats people?
I don't know.
What form of lotion? Maybe like some crispy, like chicken.
I don't know.
You threw me off when you said lotion. I'm like, I didn't even know lotion was a thing.
I'm sure that's a line that's said in the film. We'll find out when we come to watch it.
Maybe the lambs are so shocked the way that he eats people that's why they're so silent.
Right. But back to the obviously the covers with like these horror films and stuff. This was always things that intrigued me when I obviously used to go to like see them in like shops where
you mean blockbusters
films, all sort of things like that. Not necessarily blockbusters, but like just video shops in general.
And where you used to rent things, like before Netflix was a thing.
Yeah. And see all these weird, wonderful horror covers and like they look really intriguing, and it was just drawn to me of stuff that was kind of like what's that about? Obviously, it's way too young to be like actually buying them or anything like that.
You do concern me. We're going to get a weird kid now because of you.
I don't know.
Like, I swear to God, if it
just because you like horror doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to turn into
a psycho,
a serial killer.
More avidly will be, because you'll have ideas in your head then, where a normal person won't even bear to think of them.
Yeah, but I watch these thrillers, these horrors, and I'm not getting like ideas of what to be doing with people and stuff. I know the difference between
feed me to the pigs if I get on your nerves.
Yeah, I just need to find a pig farmer. That's easy done, isn't it? Yeah, but specifically just to knock you off. Yeah. Anyway, we'll go to this. Reading the synopsis. So, Clarice Starling, an FBI agent, seeks help from Hannibal Lecter, a psychopathic serial killer and former psychiatrist, in order to apprehend another serial killer who has been claiming female victims.
She's called Clarice.
Yes, that's Jodie Foster's character.
I don't know, already the name sounds creepy.
Well, Clarice.
Yeah, I'm sorry if anyone is called that, but it's just like one of those typical horror names, isn't it?
Is it?
It feels like it is. Like you don't hear that name that often. Like it's a bit.
We don't really see Hannibal.
What's his actual name?
I don't know if that's his real name.
Don't know, but it just sounds like he eats people. But that's because I know it, isn't it?
Yeah, again,
I've never heard anyone called Hannibal. Yeah. It's like cannibal, so I feel like that's like too
close together. Yeah.
That's too like. That can't be his proper name.
It's like a rap name.
So is this like based on a true story?
How true it is, but it's very popular. It's in like the somewhere in the top 50 IMDb films of all time. So
I'm intrigued. I am. I know I'm gonna have nightmares because yet again, the victimizing women. So you'll be fine. He don't want to eat you.
Is that somewhat a cliche, isn't it? The weak.
No, I think it's just meaning that we're more flavoursome.
Taste better.
Yeah.
So but is it? Sexualizing.
I think actually it's probably. I think is more trying to clean up sin. I think I remember knowing that somewhere. Probably like prostitutes or people that are dirty. Okay. Or am I getting confused with? Is it the Ripper? He used to do that. Maybe
Jack the Ripper.
Maybe that's it. Maybe I'm getting confused with that.
Maybe no. I think that he did. Yeah, Jack the Ripper was after prostitutes. Yeah.
Maybe that's why he's doing it though. Maybe there's some reason.
Anyway, we'll soon find out what it's all about. Hopefully, some clarity.
I feel like I need a chocolate bar to watch this. Like Halloween special coming early.
Yeah, I think it's listed more as a thriller, but how horrific it is, it's yet to be seen.
Oh God, give me
strength.
Yeah.
Okay, well, we will speak to you in a bit.
You see a lot, Doctor. But are you strong enough to point that high-powered perception at yourself? What about it? Why don't you look at yourself and write down what you see? Maybe you're afraid to.
A census taker once tried to test me. I ate his liver with some fava beans and a nice Chianti.
And we are back to watching Silence of the Lambs. Do we have some clarity on what the title means now?
Yeah, we did. We actually did. Well, you did. You got there before I did.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you're going to say.
Let's just say that, shall we?
We were watching the same film, so yeah. But it's
But you got there before it actually had to tell me, and you had to tell me.
Explain. Yeah, the meaning behind it, but. It was intriguing with the, obviously, like, from the get-go with that, I'm thinking, like, why is the title called what it is? And obviously there must be some deeper meaning within the film that answers that question, which I guess is probably a good thing to get you intrigued to watch the film. Like, why is it called that? Where does that come into play? And it's like, okay, yeah, that's kind of a good...
Well, yeah, and also the front cover is like a white face with a moth over its mouth, which has nothing to do with lambs either.
No.
So, you'd have thought maybe Silence of the Moths would make more sense.
Moths are already silent, though. They don't really make any noise,
No, they make them person silent because it's over the mouth.
No. If you're saying Silence of the Moths...
I know.
Because it's not silence of the moth covering the person's mouth.
But the moth is silencing the person. So, anyways. Yeah.
Anyways. Yeah.
But there's two relevant reasons why both the moth and the lambs are in the title and the cover.
Yes, that's correct.
So you were happy.
So happy that they explained that. I mean, yeah, you could have... Obviously, I think that most things based off a novel, so it's probably part of the course for the text to match that. So I would probably think, adapting it to screen, like most things, it's kind of follows the book quite well, I would assume.
Yeah, I could imagine probably, what everybody says about a book. If it's never as good as the actual book. Obviously, we haven't read the book.
No.
That's why we're a movie reviewer.
Not a book club, no.
Yeah, but...
It has time to read.
Well, yeah, true. I think this kind of depicts well. Obviously, somebody who hasn't read the book would probably say otherwise.
Yeah, I think it would probably be a good, thrilling read for this.
You're all right. I don't think we'd go that far for me.
No.
I won't go out of my way. I've got enough things on my plate. Never mind having to read something scary. I'd rather... How long was the film?
About 2 hours, I think it was.
Yeah, it felt long.
In a good way or a bad way?
Just the anxiety of it all.
I thought it was a good pacing, actually, for what it was, really. And
it was the back end. It was just like, oh... It just got me to kind of more anxious, and I always hate it when you know something's going to jump out at you and you just don't know when.
Yeah, something bad's going to happen.
Yeah, and you're waiting for it, and you're just like, I can't cope anymore.
Gives it attention, yeah, absolutely, yeah.
And I just didn't see anything coming. Like, normally, like, it's one of those typical scary horror ones, and you're like, oh yeah, I'm going to jump now, but I'm not, because I braced myself.
Yeah, they try and do that in horror films, where the music builds, and it's like and it stops, and they go, and then suddenly, then they try and do that, or it's like, it's coming, and trying to throw you off key.
But this was no sign of that to kind of tell you when something was coming, nor was it.
No. Although, to be fair, we'll obviously come more back to it as we go through the film, but elements of horror were kind of fairly subdued.
Yeah.
I mean, I see it's definitely more of a thriller than I do a horror. There's horror elements, sure, but...
Well, yeah, it's horrific to think anyone could eat somebody, to be fair.
or cut, peel skin off somebody just to make an outfit out of them, basically, yeah. It's
definitely more intriguing than I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be a lot more violent and vulgar and more the
like
horror.
Straight bloody mess,
and seeing a lot of eating people.
Yeah, I knew it wasn't going to be to that extent of, like, gore fest type of thing. I think there's more this, like, psychological aspect to it, which
I enjoy.
Yeah,
I more enjoy that side of things, because I do.
Do you like dialogue-driven films anyway? More so, yeah.
And I like to analyse people. I do. I do that a lot without me realising. Everyday
life, you mean?
Yeah, like people watching. Oh my god, I love it.
Yeah, what we're going like? What's their story?
Yeah, what are they doing? Yeah. I know it sounds bad, but yeah, I do. I do enjoy it, and I think that is something with Hannibal's character. He was a doctor who was. I didn't think he was going to be so well-to-do. Like,
really?
Yeah.
Oh, you just think he was absolutely insane, but not well spoken.
Not well spoken. Not kind of like a doctor or really smart in his field, and it kind of made me think, well, why has he done what he's doing? I think that was never really clarified.
Right. No, you're right there, because you kind of go in. Obviously, I sort of knew going in as well that he was a well-to-do individual, although he obviously done something really bad, and obviously like that thing where he's like, I ate his liver with fava beans and Chianti and go.
Hated that.
But the fact of his backstory, like how did he become this way? That wasn't really addressed, and I know I think there's been prequels, and I think there's a sequel as well, but whether those delve into that aspect of him, but I don't know if is it really necessary to really know? Is it kind of just best to leave it up to interpretation of like what it is? I don't know.
I think I'd like to have had a little bit of background of him in this film.
Yeah,
he's a solid character though. He really is, the role. I don't know who the actor is.
Anthony Hopkins.
There we go.
Yeah, very good actor.
Yeah, really brilliant performance of this person, because it's like he's got every marble together in his brain, like he's got his shit together. But at the same time, there's one screw loose somewhere, because for anyone to eat anybody...
Yes.
Like, the only time I think it would be acceptable to eat somebody...
This will be good, go on. If you're on an island... If you're starving?
If there was no actual food, the person already died of a natural cause, and for you to survive, you could then consume that person if you wanted. I feel like that's the only right way about it.
Yeah, because not going to complain, are they?
No, because they already died, and you didn't kill them. They just died. Like, well, maybe they died of starvation before you did, so now you can eat them, so you don't die.
But what if you purposely?
No, then that's not right.
No. Let me finish. What if you purposely made sure that they starved? Like, say you were rationing food out, and then you were eating more, and then you're like, right, wait, we'll play the waiting game for you to just keel over, and then it's like, well, I've got more food.
I'm just looking at you like, I'm marrying this person. Why is he even thinking about this? Like, no, you evenly provide the food out between you both.
Easier said than done, though, isn't it? When in principle, you want to relay ground rules with that stuff, but then you'll be like, well, when you're in the heat of the moment, when you're feeling
really hungry,
very agitated and hungry, then you'd be like, yeah.
But I think that's the only time it would be acceptable, really. And even then, I don't know if I'd want to. I don't think I could. But I don't really get where he gets his taste from.
Taste of blood, yeah.
Yeah. Because there is a scene when we kind of get his lead lady coming in, Clarissa?
Clarice Starling. Little bird.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah.
I think that annoyed me as well, that her name was that.
Really?
Mm-hmm. It felt patronising.
Because she was called Starling?
Yeah.
Right.
Like, she's a little bird. And
that's not by her choice.
No, but I think the person who wrote it kind of cleverly did that.
Like the innocence.
Like, she's a trainee, she's still studying.
Yep.
She's a female.
Yeah, this film definitely feels like it's like objectifying women in a way and kind of like putting them down.
It shows how the world can or is or was back then. Toxic
masculinity,
it's
but
awful.
Not as such. It more like they're looked down upon really in the field, especially. I noticed a lot of times the camera was almost like as if we're looking through her eyes.
Yeah.
There's a couple instances where like she's like looking around the room leading up to Hannibal's cell or the other inmate's cells, kind of doing a panning round look at these walls and stuff. And then there's other time when with all those local police deputies and everything, and they're kind of like looking like what are you talking about? Like when she's trying to give like care of everyone's attention, please, and all that kind of stuff, and they're like whatever.
The authority's not there, and I think it's frustrating to see like that is a thing, and. Obviously, I'm really lucky I haven't encountered that in like a work environment where I've been kind of looked down upon and it being a very masculine environment.
Mm-hmm.
Luckily, where I work, it is more female orientated anyways. So I've not really encountered that, but seeing it frustrates me as a woman.
No, I can totally get that, yeah.
It really annoys me, and it's like, to think it still probably does happen nowadays, probably, hopefully not as much as it would have done back in like, even the 90s probably it would have happened because this is when this film's out.
Mm-hmm.
It's just, I don't understand why people think that we're not equal. And we still don't get equal pay now, which is like ridiculous. Like a man, let's say there's a man in my work field, he'll get paid more still for doing the exact same job.
Yeah, it's not right how it's divvied up in terms of that. I don't know what gives them the right to lay the rules on that, but
no.
There we are.
And I think this is one of the things that frustrates me because actually it shows she's more than capable within this film to get Buffalo Bill do her job outstandingly compared to other people who've been in the field even longer than her.
Yeah, slightly jumping ahead obviously to more the end now, but off that point, it's obviously like when she's figured out where he is located, this Buffalo Bill, it's all by herself that she's approaching him, and she's sent all the other people, all the men, on this wild goose chase to go to this other house.
I don't know if she's done that on purpose.
No, I think she has done.
Do you think?
Absolutely, yeah. I think really I feel like that's probably right, that so she can get all the
glory.
You're not in like a big-headed way.
No,
I'm just meaning like I'm quite capable to do this. I know, or she might have figured out herself, and I only say that she set it up because when who's one of her superiors? What's he called?
The one that fancies her.
No, not that one. I think his name was Crawford, and he was like come to a realization when all the officers and everything, the FBI people were like, "Oh, there's no one in the house sent," and he's like, "Starling."
Oh yeah,
yeah. It's as if he like, realized that it was her that led them to this place, and it's like,
And she was quite calm and collective when she was like, "Oh yes, that's great news," and I guess.
Yeah.
I just thought she really stumbled on it by herself.
No.
No. Yeah, gullible, aren't I?
But
good on her.
No, yeah, she does a good job, and I know she won an Academy Award for this, and so did Anthony Hopkins. And again, with the whole objectified by the other guy, Dr. Chilton, the psychiatrist, for her to meet Hannibal, and he's in the office. He's got that smarmy look about him, and he's trying to be flirtatious, or whatever. It's like, ugh,
and he just didn't get over it, get what he wants, basically. Yeah. And then he gets annoyed and frustrated that she didn't even want him in on it. And
then there's the other bit. It's a bit very, very gross.
It's disgusting, Paul. It's not gross. It's disgusting.
Even though I'm not like, when it happened to that another guy in one of the cells, which is walking after she's awful. Like, you know, this conversation's over with Hannibal, whatever, and walks away. This, what's it called, Miggs, is, you know, pleasuring himself and then flicks jizz in her eye. I was like, oh.
It's awful. It's absolutely disgusting. Yeah. It's like, first of all, she's being sexualised by him because obviously he's doing it because a woman's walked in and is being aroused. And then second of all, cum is not the nicest of things anyways. It's an awful thing to produce. And it's just slimy and gross. It's like the biggest snot.
It's one way of putting it, yeah.
And somebody to fling it on you, it's just gross, especially in your bloody eye. I'd have been absolutely mortified. I'd have cried. She handled it with grace. There would have been a lot more coming out of my mouth, and for sure, if somebody had done that to me.
Yeah, it's a good job. You shouldn't open the mouth.
Oh, I don't know how girls can do that. You dirty. Also, imagine the calories.
Anyway. I think we kind of went off a little bit with you were saying something about Hannibal, and then we went on to...
Yes, just the way that he talks to...
Clarice.
Thank you. And how he kind of speaks to her, and he does respect her. He's the only one that...
Absolutely, yeah.
Actually sees her for what she is, and I think that's because he's a doctor, he's analytical, he's able to judge people quite well, and he already knows exactly who she is just by talking to her.
Yeah. Their accent and stuff like
where she's from, what you know, all of her background is kind of weighed her up already. But when she goes to that like garage part, and she's cut herself, like the garage scraped her leg. She comes back and was like, "Why did you make me go there? You knew you were going to lead me there."
Yeah, it's something about some anagram of rest of me or something. I don't know. Miss Moffat or something, which meant something else, and it's like, okay.
But she'd cut herself as well.
Yes.
And it was all dark at this point.
Yeah.
And he went, "You're bleeding." And it's like, so he clearly can smell.
Oh, yeah, because he was smelling a perfume or the skin cream that she had on.
So he's got a good scent. It's like he's a hunter, kind of like a dog or something like that in a pack.
Yeah. Yeah, so again, makes him more of an intimidating character. And he's obviously got that stare as well.
That's piercing.
Piercing stare.
Weirdly, I quite like him. Like, this is the thing. I don't actually think he's a horrible character. Even though...
Just misunderstood. Is that what you mean?
I don't know. Okay. Can't really say that since he is a cannibal.
Yeah.
But,
Hannibal the cannibal, yeah.
Yeah, which I had to Google. Actually, Hannibal is a name. A very old name. Yeah. But it is a name.
Yeah. I'd say I took that for what it was. I don't think it was like Hannibal is a funny name for Henry or something.
No, I was wondering if Hannibal was like somehow the way that we're doing it, because it kind of cannibal sounds really similar. Is it like they've done something with the words or something to try and create a name?
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking. But no, apparently it is a name. But he is just, I don't know.
Interesting.
Yeah, and I can understand why she'd want to go and talk to him and want to understand him and get to know his views and everything like that. I'm not saying that what he does is right at all. It's not.
No.
And he doesn't seem as schizophrenic as like Buffalo Bill. Buffalo Bill seems to have a problem and there's a reason behind it, whereas Hannibal, he seems like he's all together, so it doesn't really feel like you understand why, unless he just likes to eat people. Like, literally is where I go with it. I don't know if you've got another reason behind it, but maybe he just thinks, oh, it's like caviar or...
Yeah, he seems... By, when you see him in his cell, he's like, he's reading literature, he's listening to classical music and stuff.
His drawings of, like, cathedrals and stuff.
Yeah, really good. So, yeah, other than the fact that he's eating people and has violent tendencies now and again, with those instances, it's not very apparent as to why he is how he is.
And I think he's selective with who he would hurt. Like, I don't ever think he would hurt Clarice either. I feel like he's got a bond with her.
Yes.
And he wouldn't hurt her. He wouldn't eat her. So it must be certain people that he doesn't see as humans.
Yeah, being like again selective of maybe the weaker species, perhaps.
Mm.
Like you're saying, like an animalistic sense, like pick the weak people or the ones who just don't deserve to be. Obviously, the ones it's obviously like when he attacks the security guards and everything in the prison.
He's not doing that out of a judgmental way. That's more just so that he can be free, isn't it?
Which, in all honesty, obviously, I feel like, despite obviously everyone sort of may know that the film is famous for Hannibal, his story is quite sparse in comparison to. Obviously, it's more about Jodie Foster's Clarice character, her, from training and then all the way becoming to like a senior FBI agent, and tracking down Buffalo Bill. That's the main crux of the story, and it's like Hannibal is kind of just a go-between.
Yeah, he's like a sideline, isn't he? Really, which is strange because, to be fair, what I knew he was like Hannibal Lecter was in it. I didn't know Buffalo Bill. I'm not meaning that in a bad way, but I didn't know who he was until I watched the film.
And like I say, when we did the initial pre-ramble bit where I said about the lotion on the bucket.
Yeah.
So was
You were right, but it wasn't Hannibal.
No. I know, but I don't think it was. But it was it rubs the lotion. It rubs the lotion on its skin, unless it gets the hose again.
Yeah.
And I guess like hose down because.
But why did he want her to rub lotion? Is it so it makes the skin better for him? Because he was like kind of carving people up.
Yeah, like
using
smooth
them.
and tender. Yeah.
So, because Buffalo Bill had like a kind of criteria, he wanted them to be a size 14. No, 14.
Yes.
So a bit plumper, not like overweight, youngish. I think because obviously he was quite confused with his sexuality. Like, I'm fine with someone being transgender. I am fine with somebody having no gender whatsoever. But I'm not fine with you wanting to become a woman and you cut people up to use their skin. Mm-hmm. That's not okay.
No, definitely frowned upon.
And I think maybe this is a thing where back in the day when this film was aired, transgender and all of this other kind of...
accepted.
It wasn't really out there, and not many people talked about it, and we wouldn't know kind of what it was. I don't think it was kind of highlighted as much as it is nowadays.
Absolutely not. No, it's a very different time period.
And don't even say that I'm saying this is like it's much better today, but he kind of played himself as a bit of a victim where people would judge him, and obviously some people might still do that today, but I feel like it's not as harsh because it's not as new. Yeah.
No, not so much judging him for that factor, more the skinning people, and that's never going to be accepted.
No, but I just, he seems more psychotic. He seems like he's got an issue.
Yeah, because he's like, like when that Catherine Martin's down the well and she's like, please help me out. Let me out of here, and he's like mimicking and mocking her like that. That's very much a psychotic thing. That's almost like, I think of like the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, where she's tied to the chair and they're like laughing at her kind of thing, and that kind of element. They're just crazy in that sense, and they're just no reasoning with them. So,
whereas Hannibal reminds me of the Joker.
Yes, more clever, more something there.
And the music, so like when he's kind of hurt the two policemen, he's then listening to the music and he's calming himself down, and even though he's just kind of brutally murdered and ripped somebody's tongue out.
On face off,
Yeah. And then he's like quite mellow.
Yeah, characters like that always seem more interesting to me rather than just, I'm crazy.
Yeah.
Here I am, and that's boring. It's more like almost like the two sides of the coin, really. Those kind of characters I really enjoy seeing portrayed.
Well, it's like the Joker. I really enjoyed watching that film because you understood why, and I think you could relate. And in the end, I was like, well, yeah, I get why he's doing it. Mm-hmm. And I don't approve, but I understand.
Yeah. Doesn't make it any right, but yeah.
But I could understand what pushes you to get that way.
Absolutely, yeah. I think, like, obviously, like, in terms of other horror elements, I suppose, like more at the back end as well. Obviously, we've got Buffalo Bill's hideout, where it's like this dingy, dark well and everything that's in a room, and that's a bit sinister down the basement type of thing, and all these
I
moths.
hate a basement.
These moths that are flying around, a bit like. Ugh.
I know you hate moths, don't you?
Yeah, they're just the waste of space. Really, you just flap around, getting you like little sporadic, and you just blow on the back of them, and it's like, well, it disintegrates. Like
dust.
They are just like dust creatures, essentially. Obviously, there are other moths like this. What was it, Death's Head moth with the pattern on the thing that's in the chrysalis, or the pod, pupa stage.
What is the purpose of putting the moth like cocoon in her mouth when she's died? Is it like her body will become infested with moths, or?
No, they said that obviously they're from a caterpillar or a grub or whatever, from into the chrysalis pupa stage, and then you go to turn to the butterfly or moth. It's like obviously representing a change, and that's just how the transformation of, I'm guessing, either that person or him wanting to become his Buffalo Bill wanting to change.
Be a butterfly or a moth.
Or obviously he's man. He's putting the woman. That probably would make more sense because of the fact that if the woman is as a deceased, him stripping the skin off that,
like a cocoon.
A cocoon of skin, female skin, onto his body, then he'll become a woman, and therefore as a change is taking place, I suppose. I might be talking around my ass here, but that's probably
good.
Yeah,
sounds a bit sick and twisted, but it sounds like
an
you're
evolution type thing. Yeah.
Can we just stick with the evolution in Pokemon? That's cute.
yeah. Caterpie, Metapod, Butterfree.
Yeah. Let's do that.
Yeah. And then the other element of horror thing is like I suppose the innocence of like when Clarice kind of finds that music box in
the first victim's
house. Victim's house. Yes. And we also jump around the states a lot as well, don't we? It's kind of like where are we now, kind of thing. Seeing an entire country. But when she opens it up, and obviously that's like nice music playing, and then she kind of opens the back of it, and then it's like the music stops, like do like pairs down, and it's to reveal something a bit more sinister as well, with the Polaroids in the back of this, like, what's going on here? That she was taking photos,
like nudes,
or he was, but then why would it be in her box? That's kind of weird.
Yeah. Unless the way for him.
Yeah.
Still don't know what her connection was. It never really panned out. Obviously, she did something with sewing and dresses, and she had a client which was meant to be this older woman, but it turned out it was Buffalo Bill. And then really their answers didn't get really transparent because I was just in anxiety mode then throughout.
At the back end.
It's awful.
Yeah, when she goes in the house, it goes down to the basement. And she's creeping around like I thought there was gonna. I guess it kind of works in a way with obviously like when she's doing the training bit at the beginning where and it's like, oh, watch your side, where were you, kind of thing. You're dead, Clarice, because you weren't watching your back, type of thing. I thought that was going to be come back into a play of sorts, but it kind of did because of how she managed to end Buffalo Bill. But obviously leading up to that bit where she's kind of creeping around, very, very like first person horror game type of.
It's awful, and I'm like probably like, oh, he's gonna jump up on her any minute now, and then the lights go off, and then it's even
and then you get the night vision, jeez,
horrifying. Yeah, but like you did say, he kind of screwed himself over, didn't he, a little bit?
Yeah, maybe if he'd not cocked his gun at that point and did it beforehand.
Yeah,
I think that's you're gonna hear that clear as day almost when all your other senses
are gone.
Well, and it's like, oh well, he's right behind me, so
I'll just shoot and see what.
Yeah.
How did the lights get back on?
Oh, because she shot down one of the panels.
No, that was convenient.
The obstructing the light. Yeah, in the basement. So
I'm going to say it was cleverly done. Where like, the lights came on, and it's like, well, I didn't see anyone turn them on.
No.
And you don't really see Catherine getting taken out of the well either. To be fair.
No, but that's just assumed after the fact, and it's like you don't want to be like.
And what happened to Percy, the dog?
Oh no, it was Precious. Wasn't
Precious.
it?
Oh,
Precious.
I wrote Percy.
Who knows? Well, what happened to the cats of those other victims?
True.
You know, you saw one on the first.
Well, no, Catherine, she didn't die, did she? So she can go feed a cat now.
That's right. Yeah. So a cat's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Hannibal does help Clarice with finding Buffalo Bill, but obviously he escapes from prison at the same time.
Yeah.
And that's not really Clarice's fault because they move him. Does Chilton, and I think it's more Chilton's fault because he's getting jealous that knows Clarice is getting closer to Hannibal and he is actually helping.
Yeah.
But then he meddles wanting the glory himself.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's more Chilton's fault that Hannibal's out and about than it is Clarice, really.
Yeah. But it's at the end when she gets the rewards for congratulations on solving the case and everything. You go up the ranks and everything. You've graduated or whatever. And then it's like a phone call for you, Clarice, and it's like, oh yeah, this is gonna be
we knew.
You know, he's not been around for a while, so it's like wrapping that up. And then he says to her like, "Oh, I've got to go. I'm having an old friend for dinner," and it kind of cuts to Chilton getting off the plane wherever he's in.
And the way it says it could sound like he's going for dinner with an old friend. You know, like it does.
Yes, I know that's the implication, but we know obviously.
We know he's going to consume.
It's obvious, like yeah.
Would you want to eat that person though? That's like being a bastard to you. I don't know if I'd have the appetite. I'd maybe want to kill him, but I want to eat him.
Yeah, it's a step too far.
Well, I don't know. To me, food needs to be appetizing. If that person's being horrible to me, that wouldn't be very appetizing to me. Do you know what I mean?
No, not really. I'm just thinking that he's getting some extra satisfaction of if he was to do that, even if it was just a slight injury, not the entire eating the entire body. You know, if you're eating a finger and go like, like I've eaten your finger, or
maybe
I don't know, but obviously that's left open to interpretation.
We just know he consumes him somehow.
He pursues him, and that's how the film ends. It's like
you kind of are okay with it. That's the daft thing. It's like you don't end and you're like he should be put in prison. You're kind of like you go eat him, and it's like
because no one else is going like where's Hannibal gone?
Yeah. But also Chilton was such a bastard that you kind of wanted him to get it.
Exactly.
But it makes you feel a bit like I shouldn't be feeling this way. This is not right.
But like you say, probably a bit like the Joker, where he's like, you can understand why, and you get you.
So you make it acceptable.
Yeah.
We didn't actually explain the lambs bit. Silence of the Lambs. Do you want to explain that?
Oh, okay.
Because we kind of did just say, we understand why it is.
Okay. Well, this has been my first time watching this anyway. I was trying to obviously take down as much information on this as I could, but I think I may have missed slight reason as to why there was something about a ranch. Mm-hmm. She grew up on one. I'm guessing this was when she was a lot younger after her father died.
Yeah.
My mum died also prior to that. I can't remember who it was. She
like
was
an auntie and uncle that she'd been passed on to because obviously she was an orphan now. Yeah.
So am I right in thinking that something about she woke up in the middle of the night or something and she heard lambs screaming because they were just
probably slaughtering
them for food or whatever.
Yeah.
So she was like running away. She took so the screaming.
She tried to free the lambs.
Yeah.
Then she tried to take one lamb and take it away, but obviously
still doesn't get very far.
No. And then they caught up with her and got the lamb and killed it anyways.
Yeah. So that is what traumatized her a lot, and she's like, I could still hear the screams. And by somehow, if she was to solve the case of saving Catherine, that would silence the screams of the lambs, hence silence of the lambs. So a clearer conscience. It seems like a loose sort of connection, but it's kind of in a way that it would kind of work. Maybe that was like this is a first big traumatizing case to work on, I suppose. So I guess in
and it's a success as well compared to the lamb. Obviously, she wasn't able to rescue.
Yeah.
So we have it. I don't know if there's anything else that we've missed.
Just that, maybe just lastly being like, obviously back to his Hannibal's piercing stare. I think it was more when he was in that cage in the middle of the room, and there were like close-up shots of him like just staring directly at the camera. Now there was obviously ones there was back and two between the pair of them. Very, very nitpicking on the like how some of the shots were framed there, but one was perfectly fine where he was like dead center and there was no bars in the way of him. But like initially, it was kind of like you could just move the camera just a slight bit so that all the bars were in line, because there was like one here and then one slightly off there, and he wasn't center frame. If that makes sense. So it's like there would have. It's stupid. I know I've been nitpicking, but
I didn't even notice it, Paul. I'm not even going to lie, and I have a camera eye.
Yeah.
Too busy looking at what the story was saying.
And the same with her, but yeah, anyway, just by the by, I'm not.
Oh, that's going to knock points off now, isn't it, for camera angling?
No, it's not. But I guess we will go to scoring.
And that will be you first as well.
Yes, it is.
I love this.
So, very impressed with what I saw. I don't know why it took me so long to see this, to be honest.
I don't actually. Thought you might have seen it without me, to be fair. It'd been one of those you just make me see.
Yeah. I get that. But it's, as it stands at the moment, anyway, it's a 9.
Okay. And why?
A lot of intrigue. Good story. I can see why it's been influential for a lot of films. After the years go on and on. And, you know, it's as seen as one of, like I mentioned before about being in IMDb's top 50, top 100, whatever, but in the high ranks, understand completely.
What would have made it a 10?
Well, obviously this is only first watch, so I in terms of like, like I say, I wouldn't necessarily put The Shining as 10 from the very beginning. I
feel like this is like a Shining, to be fair. It is kind of like that kind of film.
Yeah.
So I was thinking it was going to be high from you anyways. And I was wondering if a 10 was coming out or not.
Okay. But obviously, when I think like The Shining, that's got the musical elements that builds the atmosphere and aspect. Not saying this didn't have good music or the score.
Shit music.
In that respect, but obviously, if I was to delve back into it, some more repeated viewings, that could potentially go up higher and higher. But obviously, to a set point,
it would beat The Shining, or
no? I don't think. I've got a feeling that at this stage in my life, I don't think that's hard to top in terms of horror element for me, anyway. So yeah, and obviously Anthony Hopkins is a great actor anyway, and he did a fantastic job. And I think I would have liked to see a bit more of him, I suppose, if anything.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Yeah. So, over to you.
It's hard. I can't really fault it. It's gripping, it's intriguing, it's horrific, it's morally wrong.
To like the film, or to like people eating people?
Both.
Okay, I don't think it's morally wrong to like the film.
Yeah, it is. For me, it is. I'm morally wrong.
Okay.
But at the same time, I enjoyed it. Yes, it made me anxious as hell. And I hate films like that you'd be sat quite calm and then you're like, really in the moment. I think that's why you love watching scary films with me, because like my adrenaline kind of...
Yeah, I think like to Blair Witch Project.
Yeah.
For instance, yeah.
I get myself all worked up and a sweat on because I'm so flipping anxious of when this person's, even though, you know, I guess I immerse myself into it, don't I?
Yes.
And I don't like being like that. Like, that's why I don't watch these films, because I hate feeling that way. But then it shows that the film's done a good job if it makes me feel that way, I guess.
Sure.
But what's nice about this, there's not that much gore. There is two scenes, I would say, that kind of... The one where he gets her into the... Buffalo Bill gets that girl into the van. It's not as gruesome as I thought, but I did think I kind of covered my eyes because I didn't know where it was going.
I wouldn't... Yeah, I mean, not bloody gore. I mean,
no,
just like the
just a bit more
of like...
It was a cringe,
assault.
So... Yeah, he was taking her clothes off, so it was a bit like...
Okay.
Oh, where's this...
Yeah, is it going to start tearing into it? Yeah.
Leading, or... Yeah. And then I think the other one was obviously with Hannibal Lecter with the 2 cops. Mm-hmm. That was like the most gory parts.
Let's not forget the jizz in the eye.
Yeah, but I'm meaning like bloody, horrific.
Yeah, but
that is just awful.
Yes.
So for me, it can't be a 9.
Okay.
Just because that's too high.
Yeah, not saying it
for me. But the dialogue, the talking, the investigation side of everything, and the analyticalness and all of that, I really, really enjoyed of this film. I actually enjoyed seeing it when Clarice and Hannibal were together and they were interacting. That was like my favourite part. Mm-hmm. So in total, once I've done my calculations, I'm going to score it an 8.
That's good. Well, I don't know why you was like, oof, that's too low.
No, it's high. It's a high one for me for a scary film. So I'm questioning who I am.
Yeah, but I mean, it's different scariness. Like I say, it's more of a investigative thriller.
It's intriguing.
Yeah,
and I think that's why it got such a high.
Yeah,
I think if it was just like
straight up,
then it would be like a 5 probably.
Yeah, no, I get that. I understand. Yeah, but there's a reason why it's rated so highly, and like it shows. Yeah, just still kicking myself for not seeing it sooner, but glad I did now. And that's
could have been your favourite film if you'd seen it sooner.
Yeah, could have done.
Could have, would have, should have.
All those years ago when I saw the VHS tape of
the moth.
Yeah, the moth on the face.
Maybe it was the moth. You don't like moths. Maybe that's why you're gonna
Well, there's bothered about them back in the third day. But yeah. Anyway, we've covered it now. Documented it.
It's there forever on the internet.
So thank you very much for listening to this episode. And if you would like to check out some of our other episodes, you can do so on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Podbean, and wherever else you might get your podcasts from.
So if you haven't already, we are on social media. So you can go and follow us on TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, under the handle SP_filmviewers.
And if you would like to leave us a 5-star review, you can do so over on Apple Podcasts, Good Pods, and wherever else they do the scoring system. Anything else to add, Sophie?
Apart from if they want to be nice, then definitely go do what Paul said. We do have a Buy Me a Coffee page. I know times are a bit hard at the moment, so I'm not even going to push that one too much. We are planning in advance now of podcasts and such that we're going to be reviewing and what we're going to be reviewing, because we're going to be having a bit of a time off around the wedding, which everyone can understand.
Yeah.
So that is fastly creeping up as well. We even made Paul watch Father of the Bride the other day, and we both got emotional about it, so I think we're both a bit overwhelmed, clearly.
Yeah, just a bit.
But not in a bad way,
no.
More just excited and about what's to come, really. So yeah, so we're going to be having a month off, so we're doing some planning. Yeah,
there might be, I'm not entirely sure yet, but depending on what I whittle it down to from the long list I've got to cover, for us to try and cover, then might need people's assistance with like voting polls like I've done in the past.
Yeah. Do you know we got some recommendations off your friends as well?
Yes, did.
So we might have to put those in the loop, depending on where we can find them to view.
That's another aspect, yeah.
Yeah.
Right, so thank you very much for listening once again, and we will speak to you next time.
Don't go eating people now.
Try not to. Bye.
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 Bye.